back to my channel. What's up? Thanks for joining us for today's video. This is going to be a budget-friendly beginner makeup kit. So whether you are just starting to wear makeup, you're 13 years old, you want to start getting into makeup, you don't know what to get, you don't know what's good, you don't want to spend a bunch of money, totally get that, been there. Or maybe you're 40-some years old and you have just been doing your makeup the same your entire life. You never really had anybody show or explain why you buy certain products or what products work good. This is just going to kind of help get that basic kit. So if you want like a tutorial, me explaining and like really showing you in-depth makeup application, I can do that too. Let me know down below. And then if you want like a more higher end products, or you know, products that work better for oily skin or for dry skin, like things like that, like I can definitely like niche these out a little bit more. But this is like super broad, super basic. I just wanted to kind of show you guys, like if you're starting out, things like you don't have to spend a ton of money to have a cute face, that you also don't need to have a ton of products to get a bunch of different looks. So we are just going to jump into this video because I feel like it might be a little lengthy. I do want to say I tried to keep this as drugstore as possible, as well as affordable as possible. So I'm not going to call this a drugstore makeup kit because it's not a drugstore, because I personally don't believe you can get the same quality of everything at the drugstore. That is a simple fact. I love drugstore makeup. Most of what I'm going to show you is from the drugstore, but there is a select few things that definitely would be more of a splurge item, but it is worth the investment. I'm not saying it just to get you to spend more money. I'm saying it because I've tested things from the drugstore. I've tested more cheaper options, and it definitely is worth the investment in certain areas. And I'm not talking a ton of money, but just wanted to throw that out there. And before I get started, I just want to tell you I will have everything linked down below. I'm not sure if I will have them in individual links, but if not, I will link it to my Like to Know It, because I will have every single one of these products on my Like to Know It blog. So check them out there. You can actually shop it there, which is super simple, and gives you a little bit more detail there. So I actually will probably, so down below I will leave these linked. I will leave a link to my Like to Know It page, and all of these products will be there in very great detail. So my plan is to kind of like try to explain these in the order of the application to the face. To start, I'm going to talk about moisturizers. I have two here. Both are from the drugstore. The first one is the e.l.f. Daily Hydration Moisture. I've used this in the past couple of my makeup videos. I am obsessed with this. I use it morning, night, after the shower. I mean, right now I'm not in quarantine, I'm not wearing makeup. Like, I use this all the time. Now I even sometimes use this. I'm not a big primer person. I have a primer here to show you, but I'm not a huge primer person because I don't like a lot of makeup on my face, and that's just me personally. So I actually use this kind of in place of a primer. I put it on and then instantly go into my makeup. I think it really helps the makeup look dewy and last long while still giving that barrier that the makeup isn't hurting your skin and keeping you hydrated. Now another option, because some people don't like this kind of intense hydration under their makeup, is the Garnier Skin Active Moisture Rescue Refreshing Gel Cream. Now this is formulated for dry skin. I'm oily, I'm combination to oily, and I still love this. I use it on myself. This moisturizer is probably, I would say, more recommended to use under your makeup as far as keeping you hydrated but not giving you that oily, dewy look. Like, this is just really going to replenish your skin, really hydrate it. Both are very, very good moisturizers. I kind of lean this way a little bit more. One, because I like the product a little more. Two, because this packaging is convenient. I'll be honest, I'm not the type, I don't like to dip my fingers down into things. I don't like it getting under my nails. I like a pump. That's me personally. So that's kind of why I reach for this guy more, but both products are incredible. So that is the first step, though, would be to find a good moisturizer. Honestly, moisturizer is going to help your base significantly. It's going to melt into your skin, to look like one with your skin rather than it like looking like a mask on top of your skin. After moisturizer, the next step in most people's makeup routine would be a primer. Now, I personally don't think this is an essential step when making your kit. If you know that you personally have very, very large pores, if you are very, very prone to dry skin, if you have peeling skin, things like that, that is what a primer is for. A primer is very specific to your skin type, and that's why I'm not such a primer advocate, because I don't always think it's necessary pending the skin that you're working with. That being said, I will show you one of my favorites. This, I don't know how it works with dry skin. I have not really heard any reviews from people with dry skin. I'm not a primer person, so I'm really not the one to speak on behalf of a primer. If I were to get a drugstore primer, this is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And when I use a primer, as far as a drugstore end primer, this is what I reach for. It really, really does fill in the pores. So if that is what you struggle with, is like pores and oily skin, this is the guy you can reach for. And something about a primer that a lot of people don't understand is that it's just another barrier. So if you don't put a lotion on before your foundation or face makeup or whatever you prefer to use, a primer or any product, whether it's a lotion or a primer, acts as a base. So you've got your skin, you have your base, and then you have your foundation. A lot of times people will just go straight from their skin to their foundation, and it doesn't really add anything in between to blur things out. Whether that means you need pores blurred out because your foundation, if you don't have that barrier, your foundation will sink into your pores. If you have oily skin, the oil will seep right through the foundation. If you have dry skin, that dry texture is going to come right through the foundation, where if you use a primer specific to your skin type, it kind of adds a layer that lets the foundation melt into your skin without it bringing out all the flaws. That's what a primer is really used for. It's also to help with longevity. Again, I'm not a huge primer advocate just because I don't like a lot on my face, and I would much rather use a heavy lotion to make my foundations look more like a BB cream. That's just me, to each their own. This is from Walmart. This is just the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. It has no color to it at all. It just really fills in the pores, and I have noticed it does help with oil when I put it on because my pores are my T-zone, so it does add that extra layer that the oil can't penetrate through my face makeup, so that is really nice there. I don't think a primer is necessary for a beginner's makeup kit. If you feel as though you need one, I would suggest this one, but primer is also something that the more money you spend into it, the better result you're going to get. So don't get a primer just because it's cheap and you feel like you need to use it. If you want to use a primer, do research, really figure out your skin type before you buy any makeup, really, but really do your research before you invest in a proper primer, because your skin type will make or break the primer. It's not always the product, sometimes it's the way it works with your skin. Next step would be foundation. Now, I tried to like really narrow it down as best as I can, and what I was thinking was like budget friendly, was good for beginners, and really covered all spectrums. And foundation is something that not everybody is going to need. Some people, if they wear it, will want a very, very sheer coverage. Some people will want just, you know, to look like they have makeup on, and other people need full coverage. They have acne. That's a simple fact. We're women. We have hormones. People get acne. We need to cover it. We want to cover it. We don't need to, but so that's what we're wearing makeup for, is, you know, to hide these imperfections. So I was trying to find affordable foundations that covered all of this, and instead of narrowing it down to one product, I'm going to show you 3 products from the same brand, all around the same price range, and we are going to be talking about Maybelline. I love Maybelline foundations. I swear by them, honestly. I like them better than my Born This Way foundation. Like, I prefer these foundations over my higher end foundations that I spent $50-some on. I like these guys better. So let me just kind of break them down here. So the first one you have definitely heard me talk about, and this is the one I personally like the best. Now I'm gonna go into details why, but this is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I love Maybelline's Fit Me line. From their concealer to their setting powders to their foundation, their Fit Me line is spot on. I think they hit the nail on the head with this one. So they have a matte and poreless version, and they have a dewy and smooth version. I love both. Like, when I do my sister's makeup, she does not have oily skin, so she doesn't need the matte and poreless. So when she buys this, she gets the dewy and smooth, and it looks amazing on her. It looks beautiful. This is what I need because I have oily skin, I have pores. So this works incredibly. I wear this on my 12 to 13 hour work days, and my foundation looks like my skin, but like my flawless skin, which we all know isn't true. This is incredible. So a little bit about this, and this would go in hand with the dewy and smooth, is this is a light to medium coverage, and that means that you're not going to get every single piece of your skin covered. This isn't going to cover your dark circles, this isn't going to cover your acne, but this will even out your skin tone, and that is what I look for in a foundation. That's what I think a lot of young girls should be looking for in a foundation. That's what I think a lot of people just need to be looking for, unless you have serious skin concerns. If you're wearing a foundation, I would say go light to medium, because the higher up in coverage you go, the more heavy it will be on the skin, the easier it will be to cake it onto the skin, the easier it is to see that foundation. This melts into the skin and looks like natural skin, and that is why I like the Maybelline Fit Me. That being said, I'm going to explain the other two, because this isn't going to work for everybody. If you have acne prone skin, this isn't going to cover what you want things to cover. You can make it work with concealer, but this isn't going to be what you're looking for. So as we're talking about acne prone skin, I have a Maybelline Superstay foundation. Now I used to use this. This was what I swore by probably my senior year in high school, into when I was in cosmetology school. This is what I wore before I found the Fit Me, but this is definitely heavier. I actually, when I was getting ready for today's video, tried to use this just to see if I still liked it. It was too much on my skin. Granted, I haven't been wearing makeup recently. Being in isolation, I don't need it, but this was too much for my skin. So take that with a grain of salt. Now, if you have that acne prone skin, this is what you're gonna want. This will give you the most coverage. The heavier you go with your foundation coverage, the harder it will be to build up. So keep that in mind. The more you put on, the more you will see it. With a medium to heavy and that is only being said with a medium to heavy that is only being said with a medium to heavy coverage foundation. So now we've talked light to medium, medium to heavy. We're gonna talk very, very sheer, girlfriend. So this is for my little high school girls. I love you guys. Stop wearing foundation though. You don't need it. Like, I wish somebody would have like just taken a makeup wipe and wiped it off my face when I was a teenager. Like, I wore foundation, I didn't need it. My skin was perfect. And then I just piled and piled and piled on the makeup because I loved it, because I enjoyed it, and I thought I needed it. I didn't need it, I just enjoyed it. So if you're doing it for the sake of enjoying it, or just to fit in, or just because you need a little extra, but you don't really want it to look like you're wearing makeup, girlfriend, go for a BB cream, a CC cream, whatever you prefer. This is the Maybelline BB Dream Fresh Beauty Balm. I love this. I'm a huge advocate of BB creams and of tinted moisturizers. I actually prefer that over foundation because I don't wear foundation every day. Honestly, usually, well, I'm going to show you what I usually do. I love a BB cream, and this is one of the most affordable BB creams for the quality of it. There's so many different versions you can get for it, but this is where it's at, sis. If you don't need the coverage of foundation, don't put it on. And this is something else, like even if you're hanging out at the pool in the summer, put a BB cream on. It's got sunscreen in it. So that is our 3 foundation options. You can, again, you're really just gonna have to do like a lot of like self skin assessments and say, okay, this is my skin type. This is what my skin looks like. These are my problem areas. This is why I'm doing my makeup. And then like sit down from that list and find your products that work best for your skin. One more thing, because I feel like honestly I'm focusing a lot on like your face, your base, and that's because that's what really is important in my opinion when wearing makeup, because that is the first thing that will give away if you're wearing a ton of makeup, is the way that your foundation and your base looks. So we want to be wise about the products that we choose with it. Now what I'm about to tell you, if I'm not using that Fit Me Matte and Poreless, this is what I use, and I do this most often. I am going to show you another, these are both the Maybelline, these are just 2 more Maybelline products. I told you I love them. I told you I'm trying to keep this drugstore, and this is what I do on a day-to-day. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me Powder. I love this system. I love this concept. This is what I have on today. I am obsessed with it. So what we're going to talk about here, now you can use this concealer with your foundation or to do it this way. This is one of my favorite drugstore concealers though. I honestly don't think I've ever found a drugstore concealer that I liked this much. I love this because my skin can breathe through it. I love this because it doesn't look fake. My skin is still my skin with this concealer. So when I use it, I typically conceal under my eyes and then any spots that I have. I don't use this to do like any bright highlighting. This doesn't always cover my under eyes if I'm really tired. Sometimes I will do 2 layers, but that's also why I use a tinted powder. It's my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder. I love this. I use this instead of foundation because 1, it keeps my skin from getting oily. If you're dry, you're not going to want to do this much powder probably. I can't really think you're going to want to, because if you're dry, the more powder you use, the more you're going to be able to see your makeup. Because if you're oily, more powder absorbs the oil. If you're dry, the more cream gives you hydration. That's kind of the system of makeup. So in my opinion, I like a powder. That is for my skin. Not everybody will be able to do this. Now I put this all over my face, and this just adds that extra layer of coverage, extra layer of color where this concealer didn't fully fill in. So that's why I like these 2 and paired together. Now you can even use a very, very light-handed this over your foundation. You don't need something as heavy. You could even use a translucent powder. I haven't found a translucent powder from the drugstore that I love. But you can always just do a light dusting of this just to really set your foundation. That's something I feel like a lot of people actually don't realize is that you should set your liquid products, your cream products on your face, because like if you don't set your foundation, everything's going to be moving, and every time you touch your skin, it will transfer onto your hand. So you need to set it in with a powder to add that final layer of locking everything in. So that is what I recommend for powder and concealer. Next, we are going to move on to blush and bronzer. The first one I'm going to show you is what I personally recommend the most. This is what I would really suggest if you have the money to spend. Now, if you're not looking to spend this kind of money, don't feel like you have to, but I feel like this is where you're going to get better quality, you're going to get more products for your money, and you're going to get better longevity out of your makeup. And I'm talking about the Benefit Cheek Leaders Bronze Squad palette. This is my holy grail, like sent from God himself product. I cannot recommend this enough, and that is why I'm actually recommending this like high end of a product to you, because I know it's not cheap. I know it's not, but I cannot tell you that I have ever used a product this much in my life, because you get so much in this palette. It is such good quality, and it covers your bronzer, your contour, your blush, and your highlight in one palette. So it knocks it all out of the park, and it's all compact and easy to travel with. We are looking at the products of Hula Caramel, Hula Coralista, and Cookie. I don't use this Gold Rush blush up here as much. It's just a little too sparkly for me. But you have your bronzer shade, which if you don't know, kind of goes right in here. You have your contour shade, which you keep a little bit more chiseled. And then you have your blush, obviously right in here. And you have one of the most beautiful highlighters I've ever seen, Cookie, and you keep that up on your high points, your tip of your nose, lips, under your brow, inner corner, things like that. This is one of the best products I have ever purchased in my life. I cannot recommend it enough. I find that a lot of drugstore bronzers actually have shimmer in or get patchy, and I don't like that. I don't want that. You shouldn't want that. That's not what you're looking for in a bronzer. So if there's something that I would say to invest in that you cannot get at the drugstore for an affordable price, I would say look for a bronzer, and you're going to need to get a higher end eyeshadow, because that's something else that just drugstores cannot nail, is that eyeshadow palette. So we'll come to that in a little bit. But anyway, we're going to talk bronzer. So I just went through my makeup kit just to check one more time to make sure I couldn't find any drugstore bronzers, because I know a lot of times these girls, some of you girls out there that are buying makeup are going, you know, with your dad, and you're not allowed to order online, and you just want to grab it while you're at the grocery store. So I really was trying to find everything from the drugstore that I could, and I found something that I actually totally forgot about, but it is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I forgot. I mean, I'm not obsessed with it. Like, I'm not going to use it every day, but for the summer, I did use this a good bit last year, and I don't say I loved it, but I liked it a lot. So if you are really, really desperate to find a drugstore bronzer for in your beginner makeup kit, this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It is a very nice bronzer. I think the reason I stopped using it was because it smells like sunscreen, like sun tanner, and I think I was trying to use it in the winter, and I didn't like that. To throw that out there, that I did actually find this, so that's awesome. So then for blush, what I would recommend is the Milani Baked Blush. These are beautiful. I love their baked blushes best. I prefer a baked blush or a blush that has shimmer in it, especially during the warmer months as we're coming up on spring and summer. I really like something with a little bit of shimmer. This is in the shade Luminoso. Also, I don't know that I said that, because what a blush with a sheen to it, typically a baked blush will have this. That's why I prefer baked blushes. It's going to have that like glow from within look. I love using this blush on my brides. So many people are like against drugstore products in their makeup artist kit. No, girl, this is it. I just feel like this blush makes my cheeks just like glow from within without looking oily and shiny and still having pigment. I cannot recommend this blush enough to anybody looking to add to their kit or build their kit. I love all of Milani's baked blushes. My absolute favorite though is 05 Luminoso. I use it every single day. And then another blush that I wanted to recommend for those girls out there that are just too oily for a baked blush, too oily for one of those blushes that just adds too much shine, because if you add something like that, then your face is too shiny. I totally get that. I used to be there, girl. Like, I understand more than I want to. So I did want to find a matte blush to recommend, and that is again Milani blush. I told you I love Milani, I love their products, and this is in the shade 08 Tea Rose. Now this has no shimmer. This is something like what I would use in the winter months. Something that is not going to make me look like I'm ready to go sit outside in the sunshine. This is going to be more formal, more practical for my skin tone. Now if you have oily skin, this is what you would want to lean more towards. Next we are on to highlighter, and this is something else. I just really haven't found something from the drugstore that I love. I do have something from the drugstore that I'm going to recommend, but it just isn't my favorite. This is the e.l.f. highlighter, and this is in the shade Moonlit Pearls, and it's pretty. It's a baked highlighter. I don't completely love it, but I don't hate it. So if you're just trying to start out with highlighters, this is definitely a very, very affordable option for you to add to your kit. But I do think that highlighters is something that the more high-end you go, the better quality you will get. And the fact of it is that you're going to get finer pieces the more luxurious the product is. And by finer pieces, I mean it's going to blend into the skin. It's not going to look so sparkly. It's going to look more like a glow. I don't know about you, but when I'm looking for a highlighter, I'm not really looking to have sparkles on my face, but I'm looking to have a glow, because the glowier you look, the healthier you look. You know how people say like, oh, you're pregnant, your skin looks so glowy. Like, that's because people that are pregnant are very healthy. They have so much blood, so much going on in their body, so much nutrients, that their skin is looking that incredible. That's what you want to imitate when you're not pregnant. So I don't want to look sparkly. I feel like that just isn't a look. So I honestly, personally like to invest in my highlighters, and I like to gravitate towards honestly liquid and cream highlighters, because I find that liquid and cream highlighters naturally give more of a glow because they don't look powdery. Powder typically looks matte. We don't want your glow to be matte, so that's why I like to use liquid highlighters. Now I have a cream stick and I have an actual liquid. Both are higher end. I'm sorry. This one is Tristique. I got this in my Ipsy box. I don't know if you guys do Ipsy. I actually really like it. It's just a little, looks like a chapstick, and I just put it on my finger and then tap it onto my face. I love this for a day-to-day. It's that perfect like little bit of glow without trying too hard. Now when I like really want to glow, I go with a drop. Now this is from Becca. It is a higher end brand. I'm sorry, but this is the Glow Silk Highlighter Drops in the shade Champagne Pop. I wore this on my wedding day and I got so many compliments on my skin. People just saying like, oh my gosh, you are just glowing today. It doesn't make you look sweaty. It just makes you look like alive and awake and shiny. I cannot recommend illuminating drops enough. I think there might be some at the drugstore. I haven't tried them because I have these, so I don't really need to add more to my collection, but I'm sure there are other options. But just keep that in mind, that the more money you spend on your highlighters, the better quality they will be, the better result you will get from it. And while you guys are hating me for suggesting higher end products for your makeup kit, I am going to throw out my very last high-end product, and this is something I would recommend before you go and splurge on a bronzer, before you go and splurge on a highlighter. Splurge on an eyeshadow palette. And I'm not saying go buy 6 different eyeshadow palettes. I'm saying buy an eyeshadow palette that is good quality, that is versatile, that you can use a lot. Spending your money and investing in anything, do it with your eyeshadow palettes. And don't do it just to get it because that's what other people have. Do it because they're what you will use. So I'm going to recommend 2 eyeshadow palettes. I use both of these on myself and when I do makeup application at work. And this is the one I use the most just because it's smaller, it's more compact, and it's more practical for me. And it is the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics. Now I specify that because this has a little bit of a different color range than just the regular basics. It's a little bit bigger. I use this every single day. You can see I use these 2 the most. So you have your neutral browns, you have your cool tones, you have your super warm, you have your banana color if you have like colors that need canceled out, so that's like your matte white. You have a shimmer white, and then you have some cool tone taupes that kind of are equivalent to this, and you have a little bit of your purples. This covers everything you need. It is compact, it has a mirror. This is something I would suggest investing in. I cannot recommend this palette enough. Again, I used this on my wedding day. This is very, very high quality eyeshadow. It does not crease and it has incredible pigment. So if you are investing, I suggest this palette or the other one I'm going to show you. It is something I'm sure you guys have heard of, and I love this palette. I love the color payoff. I love the creaminess of this palette. I love the blendability of this palette. I don't like how big this palette is, and that's just me not wanting to haul it around. I used to, but now I'm like, why would I do that? It has every single color you can need though, and I think I definitely use this a lot because this one is also such a wonderful investment if you don't plan on traveling with your makeup, because you have multiple shimmers, you have tons of transition colors, you have your pinks, you have your fall colors, you have a couple pops of color, you have some pigments in here, you have a black. That's one thing that the other palette doesn't have, is a jet black. It's like a very dark brown. This has an actual black in it. So I really suggest this palette too. The only reason that I suggested the other one in addition to this is because this is big. I mean, if you compare it to the other one, this is a significantly large palette. So just keep that in mind. But eyeshadow is something to invest in outside of the drugstore. I hate to say it, but it's very hard to find high quality eyeshadows at Walmart or Target or CVS or wherever you are shopping. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is difficult. So if you are building your beginner's makeup kit, definitely invest in your eyeshadows. Guys, we're almost done. I feel like I've been talking for like 6 years, but this is a video I do want to be thorough. I don't mind if it's long. I'm sorry if it's long, but I want this video to do itself justice. So next we're going to talk about brows, and I have 2 brow products. One is from CoverGirl and one is from L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist. It is the little pencil. I cannot recommend this enough, and I wish somebody would have recommended this to me sooner on in my years, because this product will help keep your brows at bay. And by that I mean you're not going to have some big block eyebrows here. This is going to be very fine hair size strokes, which a lot of us just need a little bit here and a little bit there. You don't need to completely fill in an entire eyebrow. So if you don't need it, don't do it. Makeup is made to enhance your beauty. It's not made to cover up or fake it. So this is something I really recommend. This is a perfect dupe for the Anastasia brow pencil. I don't even buy that anymore. That's what I used to get, and then I found this and I'm like, why was I ever spending like 3 times the price of this pencil? Because I go through them so fast because they're so little, but this really helps me like keep my brows at a natural look. And then the second thing is just the brow gel, and I just use the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow Gel. I think this is something so important that a lot of people don't know about and don't use in their makeup kits, is like a brow gel. It holds your brows in place, that they're not like falling all over the place. They're not doing whatever they want. And if you're not comfortable using a brow pencil, you can always get a tinted brow gel, and that will work just as good. As long as you have eyebrow hairs, that will work just as good. So this is definitely something I really suggest to add into your makeup kit. Okay, so now that we're done with brows, I'm literally almost done. I have mascara and lips to talk about yet. And the mascara that I think everybody under the sun knows about, and if you don't, I'm about to put you on this. It is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. I recommend this to everybody. It is very black, which I think is something a lot of people don't realize. Their mascara isn't black until they get like a berry black mascara, and it makes all the difference to have your eyelashes like popping and be like actual black. It keeps my eyelashes curled. It is super dark, super black, and it is the perfect dupe for a very high-end mascara. And I just think that's super important, because if you don't need to spend the money, don't. So yeah, this is the mascara I recommend. I think everybody needs a good mascara. This is good in both waterproof and regular. Another thing that nobody ever told me is don't wear waterproof mascara unless you have to. That is so bad for your natural eyelashes, like so freaking bad, and nobody ever told me that. Like, I was like ripping my eyelashes out when I was a kid, and nobody ever told me, just use regular mascara, girl, and it will come off just fine. Like, unless you're crying every single day, you don't need waterproof mascara. And the very last thing is lipstick. I have so many I can recommend, but I'm actually only going to show you 3, but they're different kinds, so you can like test out the shades and stuff as you want. So they are all from the drugstore. I have one from L'Oreal, one from Milani, and one from Maybelline. The L'Oreal lipsticks that I love, this is the packaging. It's just black with like little gold. It's super chic, super elegant, and it actually has the color down here. I love this lipstick. It is the, I don't even know what line it is. I don't know what this is called. But anyway, it's called like the L'Oreal Color Rich, something like that. And just for reference, this is the shade Matte Macadamia. I love this. I have so many different shades of this lipstick. I love it. It's a little bit more matte, but it is still, like, it's not drying matte. It's like a creamy matte. And then the next one is the Milani lipstick, and it is in the shade Matte Innocence. And again, this isn't like super drying matte. It is like a creamy matte. And that's what I look for in a lipstick. I don't want something super drying, but a lot of times if it gets too glossy, it gets like gross and doesn't last and all kinds of stuff. And that's kind of how this Maybelline one is. And this is in the Maybelline shiny lipstick. I don't even know how to tell what like drugstore lipsticks are, like what their line is. But this is just what it looks like. I don't know if that helps at all. It's like really, really shiny packaging. But this one looks more like a lipstick when it's on. It's very, very glossy, even though it is a lipstick. And this is in the shade Baddest Beige. I actually have the shade Baddest Beige in like 3 different Maybelline lipstick lines. So that's like a really good one if you're actually looking for a perfect nude. Baddest Beige Maybelline lipstick is incredible. Definitely recommend that. But these are the 3 lipsticks that I kind of recommend. So there's the packaging. You can kind of look for them at the drugstore and see and pick shades that work for your skin tone, because that's another thing is the neutral nude colors that work for my skin are not going to be the same for somebody that has very fair skin or very dark skin, or even has different hair colors. It's going to look different. So keep that in mind. I fibbed. I do have one more thing to show you, and this is actually just a tool that I want to let you guys know about if nobody has ever told you, is use a sponge. This is just a very generic one I picked up at the drugstore. And get your sponge wet. I don't know why that's like a thing that girls don't know to get these wet. If you get these wet, it really, really helps your makeup set in your skin. Just press it into your skin. Give yourself that hydration. That extra bit of water and moisture really melts it into the skin to make it look like it's not makeup. And in the end, that's really what we all want our makeup to look like, is like we're not wearing it. So just use a beauty blender, get it wet. It will be great. And you don't have to spend a ton of money on a beauty blender. Get a generic beauty sponge. They all work the same and we end up throwing them away in a couple months anyway. That is all for this video. It was long. I know that. I'm sorry, but I really hope you guys took something out of it. Again, all of these will be linked on my like to know it, which is down below. Go check them out. I just really, really suggest that when you are investing in your makeup, do it wisely and be smart about it and be educational, because what works for me is not always going to work for you. So do your own due diligence, do your own research, but I hope this just helps you. So yeah, that is all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.